Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting round of the 125th edition of the US Open and Invitationals. I'm your host for tonight, once again, WGM Sabina Foisor. Very excited to be back here and bring you some of my favorite moments of the tournament. I wanted to take a moment first and thank the sponsor of the US Open and Invitational stream, and that is Precision Tune Auto Care. They've been in business for over 45 years and are making sure our cars run smoothly, same as hopefully this stream will be once I will get started with it. And what else can I say? I've had the pleasure of being here with you for the past few days, and it certainly has been exciting. I want to take a moment and review round 4, and I don't think we need too much introduction once I get started with that. But as always, if you have any particular games that you'd like me to go over, don't hesitate to let me know in the chat. And also, even if it is for the US Open, particularly, I'm focused on the invitationals while they're still in progress. The last 3 rounds of the US Open, I'll be all eyes and ears on that tournament. But until then, if you see some interesting games, feel free to let me know, and I'll gladly take a look at it and bring you some of my thoughts. But without further ado, hi there, London. Without further ado, let's get into the recap of round 4, which was definitely one of the most intense. And I think it's kind of interesting to see that the tournament that brought the most decisive results was actually the Irwin tournament of senior champions. This is you might think that once you get older you're not playing as much. Forget about that. Chess is not about age. Chess is about enjoying the game and playing the best you can. It doesn't matter how old you are. And in this round we had quite a few decisive games that I definitely want to go through, actually the entire thing, because I really thought it was they were very interesting. So for the first one, Grandmaster Alexander Fishbein was able to do it again. He won a beautiful game against International Master Alexander Matros, that putting him in a sole lead position with 4 out of 4. Grandmaster Fishbein has recently won the US Senior Championship, so he seems to be all in shape and ready to win yet another tournament. Let's see if he will be able to do it. But first, going into this round, he actually chose to go for the very aggressive bank home. White captured the pawn to a6, takes, and now the move e6. This is not one of the most popular lines for black. In fact, a lot of people like to play g6 here. Bishop takes a6 is the second most popular line, but it seems that g6, especially at top level, people like to play that move first, waiting a little bit to see what move white is going to play next, to see whether that pawn was going to be recaptured with the bishop or with the knight. But in this case, Grandmaster Fishbein decided to go for e6 instead. This idea immediately puts pressure on the pawn in the center and asks white a question as to what it is that they're going to do with it. Of course, knight c3 is the most natural response. He captured, knight took, and in this position, bishop takes a6. Obviously, if we capture with the knight, queen takes, and even if white has taken the queen out early, we don't have a new knight to attack it, so white should be quite safe there, and an extra pawn, let's not forget that part. So after knight takes d5, he played bishop takes a6, bishop g5, trying to hold on to the knight a bit longer, bishop e7. Now black is threatening to trade the knight, so we have to trade, and in this position white played e3. A relatively natural response here to trade the bishops and try to find a fast way to development, although of course after king takes f1, it seems that white is behind a bit with the castling and everything, but you can castle by foot, of course. You just need to be mindful on how you're going to do it. There might have been some other approaches in this position, but I think white felt it was necessary to rush a bit because there's definitely a big delay for white's kingside development compared to black's. So after e3, castle h3, everything traded, white covers b2, and after black manages to castle, it is time for white to make up their mind how it is that they will place their king, where exactly will they place it, how they develop this knight, and how they bring that rook super fast into the game. Well, in this case, white ended up going knight e2. I feel like knight f3 could have been an alternative, but then of course we might need to go king g1, h3, king h2, because obviously we cannot push the g pawn anymore. I do like the knight in f3 slightly more, but it certainly takes a bit longer, so we need to decide what it is that we want more. White chose the knight to e2, and black responded with d5. Oh, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Something's up with my board. Knight c6, queen takes d5. The big mistake in the game. So in this position, obviously, d5 is played. You see the pawn there, you want to take it, but you need to remind yourself, in chess, it's not all about material. King safety should be your #1 priority, and white has missed that opportunity to keep their king safe. I mean, there's no time to take the pawn. King f2 has to be played, bring the rook fast into the game, make sure b2, a2 are covered, and then maybe hide with the king to g1 if necessary. Queen takes d5 simply allows black to completely outplay white in this position, and it all goes down to initiative. Initiative and dynamic chess is something we want to be super mindful about, especially in open positions, especially in positions when someone's king is not safe. So here, black played the move rook f to d8, very strong move, bringing a new piece into the game. You don't really have many squares for the queen, so white decided to grab yet one more pawn, and now black doesn't even rush to recapture anything. Look at this position. White is at the moment 3 pawns up, but it doesn't matter. Look at this bar here, 1.5. Black is about to cruise through here unless you find the ultimate best moves, which is very hard unless you actually have an engine. Even the engine eventually does give black close to decisive advantage. So we're not in a rush to take anything besides, of course, there's no need to, because we need to bring our last pieces into the game. This rook is ready to come to d2, but before we bring it, let's bring in the knight. The knight coming to e5 is actually having ideas to be brought to d3, but also considers potential sacrifices in f3, which of course I love. White felt that knight d4 was going to keep his position safe, but that was just temporary. It was like a band-aid in the position, blocking the rook, covering f3, but that wasn't going to hold much longer. Why? Because white's king and the rook are still yet to be developed. Let's not forget about this one in a1 that doesn't help much. Maybe I should have made them red to really emphasize on the difficulty that white is dealing with right now. Rook 8 to c8, bringing the final piece into the game. This part of the game is simply brilliant. The queen moved away, and now it's time to figure out where and how exactly we're going to take advantage of this king being weak. So we want our queen to be able to infiltrate as it gets coordinated with the rook, which eventually will go to c2, but not yet because there's a knight there. So black played the move queen g6. This looks a bit towards g2, but also has the ability to bring the queen to d3. White responded with h4, potentially considering some retreat with the king there, but it didn't really hold up. Queen d3, king f2, and in this position, take a moment and try to find a brilliant move for black, after which we're approaching the end of the game. The brilliant moves: rook takes knight in d4. Double exclam indeed, because now it doesn't matter how you recapture, this rook comes into play and it's going to be mate on the board. Why recapture with a pawn? Rook c2 check. The king went to g3. Had white played king to g1, we could also go rook takes g2 check. King takes, queen takes f3 check. Oh, sorry, queen f3 first. Queen e2 check. Queen e2 check. If you go king g1, knight f3 checkmate. And if you happen to go somewhere on g3, now we go queen takes f3 check, king h2, knight g4 check, king g1, queen f2 checkmate. So really beautiful finish here for black. Nothing that white can do to survive, and that story was written. So in this position, after e takes d4, rook c2 was played, and white responded with king g3, and now there's another beautiful mate in 4. Backwards move, queen g6 check. The king went to f4. If it went somewhere on the h file, of course, queen takes g2, and now knight d3. Every single piece of blacks has helped in the creation of this mate, and there we have it. Queen e2 mate. So I was super amazed, super impressed with this. Definitely a very a nice initiative, dynamic game that Grandmaster Fishbein was able to outplay his opponent due to a capture of pawn. So whenever you want to capture material, be sure to take a moment and rethink things, and make sure that the opponent will not have ways to get back to you due to a weakness of your king. All right, going on to my next favorite game, and this was actually, I will only focus on towards the end of the game. This was a really tough fought game between international master Stuart Rachels, who had the black pieces, against Doug Eckert. And basically in this game, white seemed to have had the balance on and off, but it was around this moment where he probably was a bit, let's say, maybe nervous about the fact that that b pawn was going to start pushing forward, and for some reason he didn't take it. He must have panicked of something. Probably it was no, sorry, not here, on my bad, because here there was rook c8. What was the move I was thinking about? I forgot my move. I think it was no. I forgot the move. That was the one that white should have played here. Maybe 90. No, king g3 maybe. No. Still not yet. We need to move the bishop. Maybe bishop b7. Yeah, bishop b7. My bad. So bishop b7 was the move that white should have played here to get the bishop away from the attack, and then have the knight under attack, have the pawn under attack. After that, we can consider ideas with knight d2, knight d4, king g3 to grab this pawn, things of that nature, like someone likes to say. But bishop d7 was played, which actually allowed black to push the pawn forward, and now it's not so clear how things would go. White ended up playing knight d2, black brought in the king into the game, and it was in this exact position that white ended up playing the move rook to b3. After knight d1 check, things seem to still be going for a draw, because we have the bishop and the knight. We can sack one of the pieces, try to grab those two. But basically what happened here is, after knight 1 to e3, white took in c3, miscalculated, and ended up losing after knight takes, because black had this check and this check. Did not rush to take. This check is very important. because it switches the knight that's going to be given for the bishop. And even if white took this, black had sufficient time to bring his knight right back to g6 to stop the move h4. And now this king and pawn endgame that is going to be played basically, we forget that we have the knight just stays there to stop h4, but black's king is just simply advance and push white's king back, and then just, win. Now, instead of knight takes c3 in this position, white had the ability to play the move knight a3. With knight a3, we're stopping that pawn push just one more move. Any capture of the bishop, of course, white recaptures, and then it's going to be easy. The knight will be given for that pawn. The king grabs those two. It's going to be a draw. So if knight b4 is played in order to win the piece in c2, we can simply capture h3. And once again, capturing here and going c2 is not helping black win, because after this, we can simply go e4 or h4. I like e4, I think. e4, e5, trade the e pawn for the g pawn, and this is going to be a draw. So this was kind of a tough loss for Doug, who could have, he fought so hard, he could have saved it, but unfortunately for him, he didn't, and the game ended with him being defeated. Now the next game was brilliant from many standpoints. The next game was played between international master Timothy Taylor and Robbie Adamson. And as I said at the beginning of my review, this round was the round of the Irwin section, so I'm focusing a lot on this recap because I felt these games were really hard fought attacking games, initiative being a part of it, and I felt that it's something we definitely want to look up to. So in this specific game, we also had one of those very aggressive lines, and it was the 4 pawns against the Benoni, or well, King's Indian eventually transposed to a Benoni. So f4, 4 pawns. White went for the very aggressive line, and there are many games that have been played here. I mean, with both colors. I have been on the side of both the 4 pawns or the Benoni myself, and I gotta tell you, I enjoyed it when I was younger. I'm not sure I could be as sharp these days. I can definitely enjoy watching something or analyzing it, but probably not playing it myself. But don't count me out just yet. Queen c2, a6. So what are the plans here? Black is trying to get more space on the queen side, while white is going to try to play e5 and support a kingside attack. So, both sides will try to find ways to stop the opponent from doing what it is that they want to do. So white started with a4 to stop b5. Queen c7 was played, and now knight d2. This is kind of a tricky move, very typical. The idea is we're keeping that pawn covered, and we're bringing the knight towards c4, but also in some other situations we're opening up the bishop so that there's no knight g4, and sometimes bishop f3 is played to kind of protect this diagonal, so that whenever we push e5, we have that pawn covered. Rook b8, g4. And black played the very typical and good move here, c4. You cannot really wait much with black, especially in the 4 pawns attack, because these pawns are just marching forward. There's not so much that you can do. So after c4, g5, black plays knight h5. Now, that's the only place for the knight at this point. There's no other location, but it's certainly something you have to be aware of, because when we take in h5, pawn takes, we are messing up as black the king side. So white decided to go for a5, b5, en passant, knight takes, and in this position, white took. So in this position, I was analyzing it, and I remember I was saying that I feel white wants some f5, f6, or queen d1, bringing in the queen to attack. But it seemed like it's not super easy to really find the best, really possible way for white. But probably queen d1 is one of those moves you want to make, but you need to be mindful about the diagonal. White supposedly has rushed a bit with the push of the move f5. By pushing the pawn, it allows some activity on the diagonal, but you can't really stop it that easily. I mean, yes, sure, you can go king h1 first, and then maybe queen d1. But okay, so there's not so much advantage for white, basically. But f5 was played, queen c5, king h1, and here we were analyzing, and I realized that the best move for black to maintain equality and stop the very menacing pawn f6 was the move bishop takes c3. Now, when you're playing the Benoni, you never, it's like your heart is being teared out of your chest, you know, playing this move bishop takes c3, because that's your defensive bishop, that's the strong piece, it's open and everything. You really don't want to give it up. But if you have no other choice, if that's your only option, you gotta do it. You gotta take that pawn, and then you need to find your way into white's weak king. So we're gonna go for knight takes, pawn takes, queen takes, bishop b7 ideas, rook e2. Black gets sufficient compensation for giving up the piece and also the heart of the game. However, in the game, FIDE master Robbie Adamson did not go for that move. He ended up going bishop e5, which allowed white to play knight f3. It was not played, but that would have been white's best move, covering everything around the king, covering the center, and most importantly, blocking down the diagonal. So now bishop takes c3 will not really have as good as of an impact as it did earlier. Now, white did not play that. I played queen d1, and Robbie did go for bishop takes c3 at last. Pawn takes, knight takes d5, the correct move. And in this position after pawn takes, he did not go for queen takes d5, which would have maintained some kind of a balance and some kind of ideas for him. Instead, he felt he had to activate his rook, and he played the move rook e3. But guess what? This is a huge blunder already. Chess.com shows it to you. But why is that? Why is this move so bad? I mean, you're activating the rook, you're trying to bring a new piece into the attack, you will have, you know, ideas to take c3, rook d3. Well, because, listen, knight b3 indeed. Knight b3 discovered attack, fork, protection, d5, and now white is the one winning. And it's kind of funny. I need to show you this line so that you understand basically what is the big difference here. So after knight b3, pawn takes, we take, and white goes rook to e1. And now after rook e1, there's no good move for black to move the queen. There's no checks. The rook infiltrates to e8. The queen captures in h5. f6 is going to be made very, very soon. Now, luckily for Robbie, white did not play that. White ended up playing rook a5, which is still a pretty good move. Loses a bit of the advantage, but not as much. Rook b5 was played. And what's hilarious about this position is the fact that now knight b3 does not work anymore. Can you believe that? It does not work anymore, because after takes, bishop takes e3 check, queen takes, and after rook e1, there is one move, only one move, and it's brilliant in my mind, because, you know, I always love cute stuff and only moves and things that take me forever to figure out. But there's one move here for black that actually keeps the game alive. The move is queen to f4. And you're looking at the position and you're thinking, what do you mean, Sabina? Come on, I mean, how can the move hold? Don't you see there's rook e8? Yeah, sure, I see that. Yeah, I see it. And then what? Do you have a follow-up? Because right now, like, there's nothing. There's nothing going on. Because as soon as you move the rook, I will have checks, and I'll have perpetual checks. And there's nothing you can do. I also have this pawn, and really, no matter what white tries, it's not gonna hold. It's crazy that queen f4 is the move that saves black, but it does indeed. So, anyways, white found a much better move here. Captured, took in c4. But as the game progressed, now white has to find like only moves that would maintain actually the balance, and it's not easy to do because you have a lot of hanging pieces. You are up material, but this knight is kind of hanging, that pawn is weak, the king stays on the diagonal, so finding rook e1 I think is really difficult. Bring the king to f2 and try to stay safe. I mean, I don't think this is an easy thing to find. So white didn't find it. White ended up playing g6. And now look at that bar going down. White loses all of its advantage. Black finds this beautiful only move, rook takes e3. And now, like, even if you take the exchange, black maintains activity because the d5 pawn cannot be protected. And then the queen and bishop together are creating serious threats. G takes h7, king h8. White grabs the exchange, but now he has to find only one move in order to maintain equality. And funny thing, the only one move is queen e1 check. And then the idea is you actually give up that pawn so that you can come back to d1 and then get the chance to take h5 and bring the rook into play. I mean, this is not an easy thing to see. I don't think so. White ended up playing the move a rook to f3, and after this brilliant move of black's, there's nothing else to do, and the game turned around completely. Queen to e4. I love this move, keeping white's rook pinned, threatening bishop takes d5. White play king g1, but after bishop takes d5, you can't move the rook. And if you protect it, we're going to trade everything. The king and pawn endgame is lost. White gave one more check, and after king takes h7, resigned. So, I mean, it's a really hard fought game. Tactics matters, calculation matters. Having the power to be creative is very important. And this is another reason why I really wanted to show this game as well. And I know I'm too much. I always show more than I should, but listen, it was just too beautiful not to show. And that takes me to my next favorite game of the round, because I had so many I couldn't decide. The next game still comes from the Irwin, and that was the game of Grandmaster Melik Hachan playing against Karl Hessler. And Melik has had kind of, I would say, a tough start because he drew 2 games and starting to be worried a little bit. I mean, I know him as being a very tactical, dynamic player. Of course, I know him more as a coach because I used to be a member of the Olympic team that he coached or was captain of. And so I know his style and what he was always trying to instill in me, some dynamic ideas, while I wanted more positional, of course. What can you expect? But, seeing him play this game made me realize he's still there. We still got Melik. He's still ready and sharp to play. So let's see how he was able to outplay his opponent from, of course, a position of, let's say, a bit of power, because he actually ended up having quite a bit of space. So to play this modern variation, Melik chose quite a classical and natural response to it, but he chose to castle long, which I like. So very classical kind of approach, 2 pawns in the center, development of the bishops, castling. In 8 moves, white has completed development, and this is usually what you want to see. But then it's not enough. You really need to find a way to outplay your opponent in the end. So here, after bishop b7, white played the move h5, and after h5, black responded with g5, of course. Knight h2. Nice prophylactic idea, getting ready for some break with f4, and black played f5. And I think this seems quite a natural response for black in the hippo or, modern. You can't sit and wait for too long because already the opponent has the center. If you don't attack it soon, they will kind of outplay you and restrict you more and more. And when the game was played, I actually suggested the move f3 to protect the pawn and meet f4 with bishop f2. But Melik had something better planned, and I loved his approach so much more than mine, and that was the move f4. Because now after f4, white puts more pressure on g5, is trying to open up the position, gives up the pawn, but who cares? We don't care about the pawn here. We care about opening up the king side. Black kind of needed to play g4, and well, Melik has shown his tactical skills here and played. What move do you guys think? Knight takes g4, of course. Come on, let's go for it. Black has developed a bit, but has some weaknesses. When we take, we get a chance to win e6 as well. And okay, finding only moves here is not so easy, I think. For black in the game, black played knight f6, which allowed the capture, and then black went for another pawn. The entire theme of this round seemed to have been grabbing the wrong pawns while neglecting the development of the king, or better said, bringing the king to safety. And after knight e4, I loved Melik's approach. Trade first, of course. The knight came in with tempo, and when we're trying to keep the opponent's king in the center, we need to respond with tempo as well. And now d5, the move that I enjoy a lot because it keeps the bishop kind of restricted here in the center. It can't go back. It supports the bishop in e6, and now all he has to do is figure out how to take advantage of the king being in e8. Black playing knight f5. Obviously, we're not going to give up the bishop. We're preparing for g4, queen f6, trying to kind of find a shelter for the king in d8. But, and of course, a little trap there in case you think of playing g4. Oh no, mate, sorry. So you cannot do that, but that's okay. You can play c3, and now all we have to do is just move the rook, play g4, and the king is in the center. Black chose to hide on that side of the board, maybe going to d8 felt a bit scary with ideas of bishop h4 eventually. So after king f8, queen e2, gave up another pawn, but after rook takes d5, there's no way to stop rook f5, so other than retreating, of course. And now Melik brought one of his final pieces into the game, and after rook e8, black basically trapped his own queen. Bishop h4, and that game was written. Brilliant game. I definitely enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Yeah, I feel like this round 4 was definitely the round of the Irwin. If I could choose a game from it, I don't know which one I would choose, because there's 3 really nice dynamic attacking games that normally you might expect. Okay, I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, but normally you might expect to see them maybe at a younger age. But I love to see these great players that US has still fighting and showing that you know, they don't take easy draws. They are there to win it, and they're showing the youngsters how to continue fighting at all ages. All right, well, that was my big recap for the Irwin. Let me still show you something from the others as well, so that you don't feel like I'm being I'm taking sides here. This was actually quite an interesting position, but it was definitely really messy, because in this game we actually had so this game was board 5 of the Denker, and it was an interesting material imbalance, right? But you have to be super precise with the white, because otherwise black will take advantage of the weakness in g3. And white has done quite well for a bit of time, grabbed that pawn, but after rook e2, I think he panicked. He realized that his knight is trapped, that he cannot go to g2 because rook h1 and rook takes g2 and he loses the knight, and he realized he cannot go to g4 either because of the same thing. And he probably panicked here for a moment, not realizing that there are some other moves that can work, like giving a bunch of checks. And actually, black doesn't have quite a good hiding spot for the king. If he goes like king e7, we check, and king d6, we can go rook f7. So we will be giving up that knight. But if we take f6 and g6, I think white has more than enough pawns to save the game. Maybe black is the one who has to try to draw. F5 kind of weakens a bit this pawn structure because white will not really have 5 connected pawns anymore. And after f takes g6, definitely black had to go, in my opinion, rook g1, because after that we get to take g3, we get to take g6, and we should be on the way to winning here. But he made a small mistake, king f8. And now after h5, rook g1, white, after rook g1, white could have tried to get this draw after the check, because if you go to g8, now we can go h6. No, not yet. Sorry, not h6 yet. And also not takes, because they take here. I think king g4, and bringing in the king to support that d pawn should give white sufficient counterplay to hold on to the game. But after d6, rook takes g3. The story was written because now these two rooks are powerful. They will be threatening some mates. And after a few checks, black realized that it is on this side that he has to cut his king off, stopping the d pawn from advancing. And now the other rook comes in to mate. And despite the promotion, it's not enough for white to hold. And after rook c2, white resigned. Yeah. So this was kind of a tough loss for white, I'd say. On board one of the Haring, Omiya did offer a draw in a slightly inferior position with her bishop being in b7, restricted and everything. I think it was the right moment to offer a draw. Thankfully for her, her opponent accepted, and the game was declared a draw. This was a game that certainly had a lot of eyes on, I would say, because of course Megan is now up and coming. There's a lot of talks about her recent success, and for her age, I think like she's definitely done amazing and has great future ahead of her. But sometimes when you're playing in the top position, especially at this age, this is the moment where I think you have to learn how to play against opponents who are maybe similar rating to you or weaker than you, so that you know how to outplay them. In this game, I felt she was not on her top game, because she played this move queen c7, and after white gave her the chance, after c takes d5, white gave her the chance to kind of get more or less balanced position. She ended up going for this move, bishop takes d5, after which she's actually getting into a much worse position. That was not the kind of approach she should have taken here. Her opponent, started improving step by step. Rook g4 first, having some, threats on g7, attracted g6. Now rook d4, of course, is gonna win. Give up the rook for 2 minor pieces, and white has the bishop pair. Megan was able to take this pawn, but you see the weakness of this diagonal with the weak king definitely was going to be tough to meet. Thankfully for her, her opponent actually ended up making quite a few mistakes, and then she took control of the game. Like knight d4 here seems a natural move for white, keeping everything protected. And then there's ideas with queen f6, bishop h6, and I don't think black can get untangled. Maybe a luft is necessary as well, pushing an h pawn. But Megan, I guess, kept her calm, because a few moments later, as we advance into the game, she was able to win another pawn, And as her opponent was building the attack on her king, she was able to find this little trick. Having this bishop attacked, white has to be careful where to move it. And because if you're not careful, you're gonna fall for this tactic. Rook takes a7 had to be played first, but white ended up going bishop f4 and fell for this idea with rook takes e2. Megan missed it in the first place, which I was surprised. She actually played h5 first. Maybe she thought bishop h6 or queen h6 was gonna create too much stress for her, but I don't really see it. I mean, there's rook takes f2, queen b2. She didn't really need to do that because now her opponent could have saved the bishop, but then queen g3 was played and rook takes e2, and then from here on Megan was able to outplay her opponent. But certainly there are a couple of moments she can improve on, but what a fighter she is. I mean, slightly worse position, she didn't give up. She kept trying to find ways to keep her pieces active, and it worked out great in her favor. This was board 1 in the Barber, and I felt for Marcus because I think he had another tough game in the previous round, but here, in a relatively balanced position, Black has to be a bit careful on how to keep his king side safe, because there could be sacrifices on h6 or ideas with knight h4. So in this position, queen f6 was played, and this allowed a beautiful maneuver. I think this is just the kind of game that you want to just follow through, like one of those classical games where you see the ideas that someone does, where the opponent is striving to find ways to defend, but they cannot find anything. So look at this. Queen comes in for the attack. There's nothing going on in the center. Everything is well protected, and now knight g4 is about to happen. So as Black decided to give up the bishop and take the pawn, look at this. Knight g4, sorry. F takes g6. f5 in order to stop potential mating ideas with knight h6, queen h6. Knight h6 anyways. Check. New piece into the attack. And that king was just brought out and about. And I love the finish. That's the reason why I'm showing this game. Bishop h5, followed by queen g4 mate. A brilliant way to finish this. And that is my story. That is what I felt. Those were what I felt the most instructive games of the round. I certainly hope you guys enjoyed them. And yeah, here for some more. All right, well, now I can finally greet everyone. I try to make that part of the stream always when I start and I'm doing recaps. I want to make it as easy as possible to be cut and adjusted for later for YouTube, for US Chess, because I think it's nice to have a little bit of educational content for US Chess YouTube too. If you haven't done so yet, please do follow US Chess social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube, of course. There's much more there are so many more things to come. Quite a lot has been published already. The focus now is on bringing as much content that helps empowering people to play chess, bringing educational content for people to enjoy, and just kind of sharing different stories. There's 3 podcasts right now. There's also content that I believe Brian is still posting, National Master Brian Tillis, who's also the marketing and communications manager at US Chess. He's been doing a few interesting, bringing back to life some interesting opening lines that I think everyone can enjoy. Just kind of watch through his videos and then go on and learn a few new thing or another. So, you know, like if you have the ability to follow that and, you know, make a comment, let them know what you enjoy so that there's more content being created. I think it's going to be beneficial for everyone. All right. I try, Michigan Eagle, I try. And hi, Just Lover. I don't know if you're still here. Sorry, Steven. Hi, Steven, as well. I am feeling a bit better. How is my voice? Guys, how's my voice? Michigan Eagle. I'm remembering you because you said I will finish this commentary better than when I started. Am I on the right, am I still on the rise, or how is it? My voice is better? I'm still on the rise. That's good to hear. The rise. I need to be on the rise, not on the decline. I'm not talking other than the stream, I promise. It's just tomorrow there's only gonna be one stream, so I will have a little bit of the afternoon to actually recover my voice and be ready for the final 3 days, which will be probably the most exciting ones. Hi, Singular Man. All right, looks like we had a draw already. Just a moment. All right, sorry guys. So, what do we think about the draw? I was just saying that, you know, I was just making this video. I was so, oh, I'm losing my voice again. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable, Grandmaster Fishbine. If you're watching, it's unacceptable. I want my money back. I want my money back. For, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Obviously he's had a great success in the previous tournament. You know, 4 out of 4. I guess a draw is well deserved. Should I say that? I don't know. I was so impressed with the previous game, but of course I did enjoy International Master Stuart Rachel's games in this tournament as well. So I can't complain that they agreed on a draw in this theoretical Zaitsev variation. But still, I wanted to show some fight. Come on, I've been talking about fights. It doesn't matter the age. We're here to win it. And what's... I guess they want to give me like some relaxing time. One game last to comment on, but I feel like the others are just gonna kill me anyway. Oh no, Malik, you too. What was that saying in what was that saying in Latin? Et tu Caesar, et tu Caesar. What is going on here? Everyone is they're giving me a relaxing day. Sure, that's fine. They want me to get my voice back. I was so impressed with both of these players, you know. Like hopefully they're watching, you know. Now what these players should do, just come watch the stream. Don't you agree? Wouldn't you agree? That would be the thing to do. Just show the support for someone who's supporting them. But both of them have had a really great win. What did they even play? So Malik attempted a very sharp Maruti bind. Well, dragon, accelerated dragon, and then Robbie chose the Maruti bind, and then just Went for the draw, huh? I don't know about rook e8. Fine. I don't think rook e8. I think e5 is probably the move. Rook e8. What is this rook e8? Can't I just take it? I mean, I think the knight is better than the bishop. You know what? If I were Robbie, I would have played it on. Even if it's Malik. I would have played it on. Feeling disappointed at this point. How many draws am I gonna see? Alright, we have a serious game being played. Let's stay serious, guys. Alright, double fianchetto by Mikhail Kuganov against international master Alexander Matros. Yeah, pretty solid. Symmetric-ish, kind of. Queen here versus queen there, which is better. I like it more in e7, personally, because if there's a rook c8, you know, the queen will be attacked, but still early to tell. We had neither. Is this the right move? Thought e5 is the right move here, no? So black played. Does this allow e5? I guess so. Oops, what did I do? I pressed something. e5 takes. Come on, let's go for it. Let's go, my friends. I'm losing my voice. And how is black surviving this? I mean, I know I'm not an openings expert, my friends, but listen. Doesn't this win a piece? Okay, fine. You can say we're not taking back Sabina, sure, fine. Then I win a pawn. I'm a free pawn, extra pawn. This is not like initiative, dynamics, nothing. This is real deal. This is real pawn. Real money talk. I'm surprised. Okay, white play bishop f4. He wanted to meet bishop takes 95. Okay, fine. I don't know what's happening here. I guess this. But I mean, we're trading everything. Why miss a great opportunity to take on b5? Oh, that's tough. Alright, will International Master Combat give us a nice win in this? Wasting time like that is not ideal. Like, but this bishop needs to be saved, probably knight c6 maybe, because f4 there's check. Yeah, nice. I like white's position a lot. So this is kind of like a Dutch, right? It wasn't a Dutch in the beginning, but then transformed to a Dutch, and now white is doing quite well. for sure. Some Nimzo line, very natural there. Oh my god. What kind of line was this? Nidor. I think this could have been the poison pawn, or is this the poison pawn? Like, I mean, obviously white didn't give up the pawn. Nice. F4, F5 is probably another option for white. I wonder if this is still theory. Okay, see best moves. And Liam is playing way too fast for him not to be familiar with this line. Knight takes b5. Wow. So this must be some crazy queen sack, which in the end might lead to a draw. F3 Nimzo. I used to play this line when I was a kid, and I kind of liked it because but Vinny kind of came up with this line first. Knight e2, g3, castle, rook a2, e2, bishop e2, rook e1, queen d2 or c2, and eventually play e4. Those are the main plans for white, while black is trying to stop it, maybe preparing knight a5, c5, or knight c4 at some point. Exactly. Takes, comes on the c file. And the plan for white is still the same here, like to prepare e4, he might go king h1, maybe even bring the bishop like this, though usually the bishop is put in b2 to kind of cover the entire c file, rook e1, e4. Another Sicilian. I see a lot of reds in this game. There's board 5 of the Denker. Oh, this is one of those DGT error things. Okay. One of those games that we don't know exactly how it happened. Hopefully it will be fixed. So Megan is back on board 1. She played the center game. Is she preparing 5? How bad is castling? Seems like the right thing to do, no? For black. Black did not rush. She played b5. What's wrong with this move? She played pretty well, but I don't know about this. I don't know about this. How is this losing? 95. Maybe this. Ouch. I wonder if black can just go back and forth and try to get a draw here. I should play bishop h3. Megan has some initiative, but what's the best way to really take control of it? Do we take the knight with the queen? And then we're trying to somehow get the queen back in this way. Knight in. Yeah, white has certainly some initiative here. This rook in h8 is gonna take forever to be brought back into play because rook g8, bishop h6. So it's hard. And black doesn't have time to take f6. If you take f6, the f file will certainly be an issue. Yeah, bishop takes h3, big mistake by Rebecca. And she might be already in a really tough position. And this looks like a typical... You spoke too soon. I know, that was kind of tough. This looks quite equal. One of those symmetrical positions. One of those Sveshnikovs, but I like white a bit better, obviously. This is a bad bishop. We just need to figure out how to take advantage of those two weaknesses. This is gonna be the game to look for as well. Ted against Lingxi, because Ted is the lower rated in this match, and he's the one who usually comes up with ways to outplay his opponent, but of course his opponent's slightly higher rated. And Amy, great to see Amy. She's playing in the Rockefeller. I actually had the pleasure of working with Amy last year for the World Cadets Championship, and I was a coach, and she got a silver medal. So that was quite good. That was quite good to get a silver medal. Very, very nice. All right, guys. I believe it is time for me to take a short break. Welcome everyone, welcome back, or me welcome myself back. Looking forward to bringing you another hour or so, as much as possible, of this round. Thanks, Chess Lover. How are you guys doing? All right, so what did we miss here? Your friend? We can catch up a bit if you guys want. With the US Open, if it's gonna work, I'm not sure. They already have some tough pairings. This is a pretty decent position from Grunfeld. Nice. He's doing all right. He seems to be doing all right, your friend. So I guess that's a good thing. Yeah, so now we got day 5. Sorry, like 7-day schedule and 5-day schedule. And tomorrow we are starting. I keep forgetting what day it is. Wait, today's Wednesday. So tomorrow we'll have the 4-day schedule starting. I have to let you know of some other events happening tomorrow, as we end the stream, so that you guys are aware of it. Also, don't forget to let me know where you're watching from, who's your favorite to win, who do you think will qualify for the US Championship, who do you think will win either one of these invitationals. Everything looks quite decent here so far. All right, let's go back to our invitationals. in the break, I actually messaged Malik. He didn't answer me yet, but I was like, Malik, more of this morning. Let's see if I actually get an answer. Yeah, this is pretty balanced, not much. White didn't get much. Black is doing alright. Okay, and this board 3. This is that game where white surprisingly missed this gorgeous, typical tactical idea, knight takes b5, just extra pawn. And now what do we have? They continue to the line that we discussed before. Bishop takes e3, queen e5, bam, bam. e6. I wonder what's up with this. If I just chase you away and chase you again, and then I do this. Or maybe I have even better. Like, I wanted to do something like bishop e2, bishop d4, or something like that. So there's they changed the standings, and I'm sorry I won't be able to actually show you the standings because they changed the page. So now the look of my stream will look terrible, but I can tell you how the standings are if you guys want to know. But they changed the look. It used to be in the middle and now it's to the side, and I only saw it after I went live, and that distracted me. So if we're looking at the pairings for the US Open, no, VAR plays with a player who has 4 points. What do you mean 1 point? Yeah, he has 4 points. You can check out the pairings and standings and everything on, I have a comment. I just can't show it on stream because it got messed up. It's probably, yeah, because you only play one DGT. One game on the DGT. So we have the traditional schedule. There are 6 Grandmasters in the traditional schedule. In the 5-day schedule, oh, it looks like we only have an international master. There were some other title players. Yes, maybe they didn't show up, or there's only one international master. Maybe they switched to 4-day schedule. The 4-day schedule does not show yet, I guess. Yeah, no. That would be too much. That would definitely be too much. So what do we think? So h3 there. I want to come up with a good move for white. Should we go knight b6? Or does that allow queen take? Oh, queen takes b2. Now this, my bad. I was looking forward to that bishop d4, and finally when I can do it, I missed it. No. This... Ouch. Oh, but can white just castle here? Yeah, I'm loving this position for white. I mean, white's done, has completed development. Danya is playing. Yeah, I saw Danya was playing. I was actually surprised because I thought Danya said that he wasn't going to play classical anymore. I mean, that's a bit of faster time control, but I didn't think he wanted. I mean, okay, if he wins the tournament, he qualifies for the US champs. I don't know what's what is the plan, but I thought Tanya was mentioning that he doesn't want to play classical anymore, so seeing him play was kind of um, exciting. I'm looking forward to comment on his games if that's the case. If he really will show up to play, probably. Some of you who are following his stream, you may already know if he's definitely playing or not. Maybe it's a joke. Maybe he just registered, but he's not. Who knows? No, but I'm liking this h3, g4 definitely for white here. White's looking good. White's looking good here. Oh, what did I do? No. No. I'm so mad when I do that. Okay, I think I kind of fixed it. Okay, fixed it. Not easy to defend. So I think chess lovers rooting for Bach in this game, or maybe not. But White's got some potential attack building. The queen coming in, capturing, oops, bringing the rooks in the central files, C and D. Yeah, slight advantage, but he's gotta mind his time a bit. Wow. All of this must have been theory until some point. Queen takes c2. I guess that wasn't the part of the plan. I wonder if black can just take. Nah, this would be way too good for white. Oh no, because we take and there's just perpetual. So then what? Check. We can go e5 because rook takes. We can move the rook as the knight hangs. And black is threatening to take. I guess we just move the rook somewhere away. Maybe not there. I don't know where. +3 is crazy. What's the decisive? Rook B, but rook DB. Oh, rook DB4. Oh, apparently not. Obviously, you did that for takes to give the mate, but I guess maybe still queen takes e2, or maybe queen takes a2, or maybe not those. a5. a5 is of it. Eventually, we will get it right. a5, chase the rook away, and then we take south. So what is the move? Oh, sorry, I meant rook b6. Maybe this, and now rook b4. Because if you go a5, now we check you. Or we just go rook b. Yeah, I guess. Rook b5, knight c4, rook b5. Oh my god, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. Brilliancy. This is the brilliancy of the century. It's like 2 rooks and a knight outplay a queen and a rook. Alright, so how does black maintain equality here or something? Maybe 5. But I guess we can still take, I mean, that doesn't stop. That does not stop. Yeah, I mean, you think black shouldn't lose, but like, what's the move? What is the way to survive? Because like, now we know the plan. Rook takes b7, rook b4, knight c4, rook b6, and mate. Neither do I. We're clueless. I'm gonna try all the moves. Hey, maybe this. Maybe this. Cause now you got no nothing. Nothing. b5. I got a cat. I got a cat close by. At some point, she might stop by the stream. She's inspecting the area. I see. The b5 is, you love Regina. She's a cutie, isn't she? She's been inspecting the stream for a bit, but now she's by my feet. You're just sitting here. All right. I don't know. I feel like this is so difficult, and you're getting into this position if you're actually not familiar with it. You're obviously going to take the pawn because, I mean, a pawn is a pawn. and then white will know what to do. And okay, she left. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, bam, a rook b6 hits you. And then rook b4 or rook a4 hits you, knight c4, and you're gonna get mated. I'm scared. I'm scared for black. I'm scared for his life. I'm genuinely. And what about king a7? Should we go to b4? It's crazy. This actually works. I mean, isn't this crazy? Wait, what was the plan? I forgot the plan. Oh, then knight c4, rook a4, rook a6. Okay, that was the plan. I mean, if you know it... Wow. Quite impressive. If he knows all this, it's pretty impressive. We'll be back. We'll be back to come to figure out what's going on here. Everything normal here in this, you know, Botvinnik system kind of against f3 against Nito. How old is he now? 15 or something? I've seen quite a bit of videos of him playing stuff, Blitz Online and stuff, but I don't know. He's pretty strong, definitely really, really strong. I kind of lost track of people's ages, like during COVID. I feel like I kind of stayed behind. I feel like I've seen them before COVID and they were these tiny little kids, and then I keep analyzing their games. And, you know, I love doing commentary, but sometimes, even when you are in person, even when you're not in person in a location, sometimes I personally can't put the names to the face. And like, if I knew them and I knew their face and their name, then it's good. But if I didn't know their face and name, I can't put it together. I don't remember how people look like, you know, I don't remember how they, like, their level and things like that. It's kind of interesting. And sometimes you see them and then I remember them by their name, not by their looks. So sometimes I remember, I don't know what tournament it was, someone saw me and they were like, oh, I really enjoyed your commentary, thanks for talking about me, or whatever, some game. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm really glad. But then in my mind I was like, who is this person? I have no idea who they are. Then they told me and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that game that you played, this. And then, you know, that made sense to me. But at the time, like when they first told me, I just felt it was a bit embarrassing not to know their face. You know, I feel like maybe US chess should start having pictures in front of everyone's name, so whenever you Google them, at least you know, kind of like on FIDE, you know, you see a picture that, although I have a picture that I was 18 years old when that picture was taken. Maybe I should send an email to Peter, like, you know, I don't look like that nice anymore. I'm getting old and forgetful and, you know, white hair all over. But no, I mean, yeah. Anyways, maybe I'll bring that comment to someone at US Chess, and then they will be unhappy. Like, come on, Sabina. No, I won't be doing that. Oh, there's a lot. Oh, this was that game with a lot of strange moves, so we don't know the opening. I still look great, thanks. Appreciate the kind words. I'm getting old. I'm feeling old. I mean, I'm losing my voice. I mean, when I was young, I could work for hours and not feel like I'm getting tired at all, you know? I could I could travel for 12 hours, get home, cook some dinner, sleep for 3 hours, wake up, start studying, and then I was ready. And now, I feel like I'm doing 3 hours of commentary and I need a break. No, I don't. It's not really like that. The reason I'm taking more breaks and taking about 15 minutes breaks at a time is because, first of all, like my voice, I want to make sure I give it a bit of rest because I'm still recovering from laryngitis and bronchitis, both of them, two in one, which has been very tough on me. I'm really glad I'm at least decent enough that I can do the commentary still, because I was very nervous and I thought it will be fine by now, at least according to my doctor. I was supposed to be fully recovered. I did everything. So not fully recovered. So that's one of the reasons. And then of course, because I drink too much, I need to take some breaks. And also my eyes, like I'm getting a bit more tired. I think it's because my body is still trying to recover from the voice. But yeah. Will I play? No, my rating is way too low. I would have to play some more. This year I only played one tournament. I mean, it did go well. I won like 10 rating points, I think. But I would have to play some more chess in order to be able to qualify. And I don't know at this point. I think I need to make my priorities straight on what exactly I want to do. If I want to focus more on commentaries and coaching, or try to give it one more shot to improve. I mean, improving never stops in chess. There are always things that you can learn, whether you're doing it as a player or as a coach. And I always encourage everyone to continue learning, whether it is as a coach or as a player. You can never know everything. I think there's always so much more stuff that we're unaware of, and by trying to get yourself better, you can actually be a better coach towards your students because you have more understanding of what's going on. And I think also as a coach, if you really want to give the best to your students, you need to make sure you're actually passionate enough to train yourself to still compete, because by competing, you're maintaining your level of understanding to how things are advancing and changing in chess, right? The chess I was playing 20 years ago is not the same as the one that's played now. You need to be more aware of like the time control that's different. You need to be aware of the opening changes, the new theory, and so much more. And if you're not able to keep track with that, it's much harder to really be a good coach and support your students. So I think that is something that, if you're looking to get a coach, that is something you should look at for sure. How do they do as a player too? What exactly you want? And of course, financial reason, I understand everyone has their own financial ways of rating. I mean, of charging you, but it's also a matter of what they can offer, what experience they have, what do they do to make themselves better to help you. It's not just about that rate, which is of course a number that some people can or cannot meet, but it's also more than just that. And that is the kind of culture that sometimes it's not very well explained to us or to the people who are trying to get better, and you just feel that it's a number and we start judging. But it's really a lot of things that have to be considered. And I think what we should strive to do as people and players is find the right kind of ways to improve and get better. Chess Wizard. Well, yesterday you were complaining about my fees apparently, so I don't know. I feel like you are playing the devil's advocate here a bit. I'm not sure. I'm not saying I'm a great coach. I don't know. I think everyone has different qualities, and you have to try to go for. You were complaining about my fees. Well, the thing is that you need to understand, and this is not a talk I want to have on US chess stream, but just for everyone in general to understand how it goes for everyone. So you have to look again the amount of time the person has been coaching, the achievements they have had as a coach and as a player, because they're separate, right? As a player, you could be a great chess player, but as a coach, maybe you haven't been able to really translate the knowledge you have uh, uh, compiled throughout all your years to be able to transfer that to your students. So that's another thing you have to compare. And then, of course, the time that they put into teaching you. So it's a lot of things. And of course, the prices are made by the people. I totally understand you. It's made by the location that they live. But again, like it's a number of factors, and then it's a market, and everyone can go can go shopping around and choose what they feel is fit. And you have to be personality matching with a coach and make sure that they understand you and they are passionate about helping you learn, and it's not just this financial transaction. Okay, it's more than that when you're a coach. And so everyone is different, everyone has their ways, and everyone has their lifestyle and things that they do, and you gotta go for whatever works for you as long as it continues to help you. Okay, and listen, as long as you're following the streams and you're enjoying and you're learning something, you don't need to be my student, right? You can be together, you can be working together with someone who helps you, but that doesn't mean you cannot complement that learning, because nobody can really take 10,000 hours with someone to improve unless they're doing really well financially, right? So you got to find other people who are teaching stuff, who are creating educational content that's beneficial to your level, to help you improve in the areas that you really require improvement. And sometimes you can get it without paying anything. So hopefully, come more on US Chess Stream, follow, the streamers that you like. They're creating educational content. Follow US Chess on social media, because I can promise you there's been already a lot of new in the past year, a lot of new content that can be beneficial to everyone, and there's going to be even more of it being created and posted. So I think you would want to check it out. So I'll put the socials in case you guys haven't done so yet, to follow US Chess. And yeah, I mean, that's the best I can say to that. I was sitting here and watching how Megan is definitely has been able to outplay her opponent here. I mean, considering how the game has started, it seemed that she was not going to do well. But then after this move, knight g3, Megan has basically played a really, really nice game. Cut the bishop, made sure black's king was in the center, took the knight with the queen very nicely. That was my suggestion. I guess maybe one potential inaccuracy. No, that's just a calm acting out. And look how nicely she's brought up her pieces. And again, it's not about the material, it's about the position. Maybe queen takes f8 might not have been the best. I wonder if bishop takes b2 could help black a bit, just grabbing one more pawn before taking here. Or maybe black thought this would be weaker, but it's still an extra pawn. Yeah, now it's game over. Now it should be game over. King b6. What is the best approach to convert this? Oh, what did I think of Divia's result? Chess Lover, I missed that question. I definitely helped create quite a bit of articles, quite a bit of. I annotated pretty much every single round of the tournament for Chess Life Online. You can catch up with everything on US Chess/news. JJ has made the reports, and then I annotated a lot of the games. I think it was amazing. Her finish was definitely brilliant, and she's got a great fighting spirit, and yeah, definitely brilliant performance at the end. Yeah, a4 is nice, and then maybe like if this happens, then you just bring in the rook for a mate, or maybe you have something even faster. But yeah, you're right. Like, why didn't she take? She couldn't have. She didn't have the time. She didn't have the time. You think queen takes f6 here would have? No, queen takes f6. There's check, and then she loses the queen, so that wouldn't have worked. a4 played. a6. She's probably gonna take, and I presume rook a1. Queen e8, and she's gonna seal the deal. Do we have one of those typical tactical ideas here with knight f6 or knight f5? Which one? Knight f6. Because I was thinking knight f5 first, but probably it's a bit too much. This was my thought. Of course, I wanted to go for this. But okay, maybe knight f6 directly works better. Sorry. And if pawn takes, what is the fastest way to win? Pawn takes. Now just this, or even bishop takes and rook here. Yeah, we don't need a bishop. We can just go for this. This is like simple, plenty. This is like plenty. h6 is, you cannot afford to make those kind of moves when you don't have a knight close by, and there's way too many pieces looking at black's king. She just needs to find the right kind of continuation that works. But anything looks great here for white. Yeah, it's important to act, of course. Like either one of the moves is good. But I mean, knight f6 is the most like straightforward, I think, one. And if knight takes, like pawn takes, of course, and queen takes, I think we should have another. Let's see, what is the best here? I mean, we don't need to, we can just take the bishop. We don't need to have anything fancy. Yeah, knight. I think okay, Omiya is gonna take a bit more time here to go for the right one, I think, but she should be doing good. This position looks quite equal for now, though black is trying to improve further here. That king is getting ready to be mated. How did it even get there? Oh, did we have a Greek gift? We did. We did indeed. Bishop f8, huge blunder, allowing white to go for bishop h7. Of course, if you take back g5, queen h5 just cruises through. Knight g5 anyways. And now, beautiful. She doesn't even go for the material. h4, h5 takes. And the king is just brought up into white's territory. What is this? This is a Greek gift. This is a commentary for the US Open Invitationals that takes place in Madison, Wisconsin. 125th edition of the US Open and Invitationals. This particular tournament, this particular game is from the Haring, which is the all-girls tournament. A Greek gift, yes. It's a very typical tactical idea that exists in chess. Basically, going back to the, the Trojan horse gift that was given by the Greeks to Troy. That was a knight, but in this case it's a bishop, because this was the first ever chess sacrifice that we know, giving up material for a greater good, giving up a bishop for a greater good, and white is, on the way to winning this game. White is attempting some attacks here. We'll have to see if it will pan out. Had to break the walls. No, they didn't break the walls. Remember, it was a gift. It was brought by Troy in the city by themselves. They accepted the gift, and then the wall didn't need to be broken. The gates were open from the hidden Greek soldiers inside of the horse statue, or whatever it was. White's doing great here, for sure. So what was the move that white should have played here if it's not queen g3? No, Michigan Eagle. It was called that way because it was the first sacrifice that existed in chess, reminiscent of that idea. And it's the knight that wins the game, and knight g5. This is the story behind it. That's how it goes. That's how you tie it all together. Sacking the citadel. I like that. I like that Nate title. Didn't know about the book. I see. I don't. That's not how I know the story. Blizzard up, but okay. I would not. I would never lie to you. I would never lie to you. What? I would be I would be it would be terrible. I'm not lying. Why would I lie? I don't lie. I learned my lesson when I was a kid. I used to lie sometimes when I was a kid. I thought it was good to try to protect people or whatever. My sister in general. So I was saying these white lies that didn't work very well with me. So that's what I read. That's what I read. That's the story I'm telling my students. So I promise, you know. That's the story I'm telling. Barber is known as Sabina Fiber. I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get that statement. Oh. Is it fibbing or fibbing? I guess it's fibbing. It means to lie. I just learned a new word. Is it spelled like, I mean, I know how it's spelled. Is it pronounced fibbing or fibbing? It should be fibbing based on the spelling. Interesting. Yeah, I was telling white lies. I remember. I got my punishment for that. Never again. So I only tell you what I know. If I don't know, or if I cannot talk about it, I just abstain. Abstain from talks. What is that move here for white? Is it this? Okay, queen F. Queen here. The bishop is lost. And queen H3. Wherever you move the queen is so bad. Bishop G5, it just takes. How? Where to sacrifice here? But like you don't have it now. Where do you want to sacrifice it, Steven? Like you want to go bishop G5? Oh, bishop G6. Oh. Like that. Huh. You're right, Steven. I guess this is... I didn't think it was enough. But I guess you have time for bishop G5 and maybe castle. And then this hangs. Okay, okay, got a point. What's my number? I don't give out my number on stream. That would be too much. Okay, but now the bishop pair is slightly better than the rook and the... My dad beat Fishbine. My dad beat some strong players. He even beat Anand. Did you guys know that? My dad beat Anand. You can definitely check that game out. And Anand remembered it. My dad met Anand in 1980. No. He beat Anand in 1982, I believe. In this tournament in Moscow. And he actually met Anand later. Anand was not that strong at the time, of course. And he met him in 2002, I think, or 2001, when there was a World Cup taking place in Moscow. And he went to him and he asked him if he remembers him. And Anand was like, yeah, I remember you. Moscow. 1882. And yeah, he remembered the game and everything. It was quite amazing. My dad always tells the story. He's so proud of it. Like, okay, Dad, good job. But he has played like 5 or 6 world champions, my dad. I think he lost to Talat 3-4 times. He was personally driven. He was personally driven by world champion and former FIDE president Max Oeve. There was this like junior championship that took place in like not Amsterdam, somewhere in the Netherlands in the 80s or 70s. Sorry, 70s, must have been 70s or 60s, because my dad was born, yeah, late 60s, early 70s. And yeah, my dad told me he got a personal ride to be brought from the airport to the, yeah, that was kind of a crazy story. I need to ask my dad more stories. My dad is kind of like could have stories similar to Yasser, but probably he wouldn't have that nice way of explaining them necessarily like Yasser does. But also he didn't become a grandmaster, but I feel like he had the level of it for a while. My dad, he just different lives, different lifestyles. He chose to coach my mom and myself and my sisters. When you change your focus from playing yourself to coaching, things change. Things change. This looks really nice for black, by the way. Let's go on to the next one. I guess black can just trade. Now white has the bishop pair, but is it gonna be enough to outplay black? Probably not. That's got a slightly better pawn structure due to this isolated pawn, but I'm not sure. So many things have to come together to become a GM, definitely. That is totally true. Amy's looking quite good so far in this position. What is going on here? This seems quite equal for now. I mean, equal for now. Wait, white played my move, but black didn't go to h5. Black went to f5. So why didn't white castle long? I'm just confused. This was the plan. This is the reason why we were playing h3, to get rid of the bishop from the diagonal to be able to castle. And then we want to go bishop here. And this would just be like really good for white, no? Like really good. Yeah, bishop d4. But he played g4 though, and it allowed bishop takes c2. Obviously you can't take as this is hanging. Bishop g2. I wonder if black should just... Yeah. But that was probably too soon. Would this allow this? It's kind of cute. Because you're playing bishop e4, pretending like you don't care, but you're waiting for the bishop to move to take, but then suddenly white plays here and you can't take because your queen is hanging. So what is the best move for black after bishop g2? Because originally I was thinking this, and bishop c5. But after bishop a4, we don't take the rook. I think we might castle first. And this is the move that white needs to see. This is the move. We want to go here. And we also want to take the rook. King is in the center. And we also want to take there. Let's not forget about that one. There's a lot of takes and pins and captures that are happening now after castling. So that's basically what white needs to see. Question is, has he seen it? Is this the reason why bishop g2 was played? Or not? Yeah, he has to, otherwise bishop c5. But what is black's best move in this position, though? Because white's threatening short castle. On top of the rook in a8, of course. Black would love to create castle bishop d6. Ah, bishop d6. But bishop d6, the rook is hanging though. Knight c4, knight b6, knight c4. But do you have time for that? Ah, you do. Yeah, okay, good point, good point. I thought we don't have time. I keep forgetting queen b2 doesn't work because of bishop here. Yes, you're right. Yeah, knight b6, knight c4. Nicely found, just lover. Yeah. Okay, so if white finds castle, that would be a pretty good deal. Looks like international master Ekembat Texuran has won his game. I was looking forward to see a win and for this game. I remember international master Ekembat, him and his wife, were the first people that some of the first chess players I met when I came to the US. Actually played for a team that they had when ICC was still a thing. There was this some league before chess.com. There was some kind of league. I really didn't really enjoy playing on that ICC the way it was looking then. Apparently now there's a much better look for it, but at the time I remember it was very hard for me to get used to it because I wasn't used to it. But now it's apparently much better, and a lot of people are enjoying to play on that website as well. So he went for this bishop takes h7, cute kind of combination. Queen comes to g6, and now it is game over. There was bishop h6 threat. And now rook c3, cute finish. And rook c3 to bring the rook here, and when you take, there's bishop h6 and 8. Very nice. Very nice win by International Master Ekamba Tekshuren. Yeah, I actually haven't seen him play for a while. I know he was playing in Baltimore. I don't know exactly, like, I thought he was still playing, but I haven't seen him much. I think I drew him once in over the board. I think I lost once against him. We're still here, guys. We're still here. Maybe Liam does not know his idea with rook b4 knight c4. Maybe he doesn't know it yet, or maybe his opponent just spent a lot of time, and I don't know who's thinking here. But the delay for this tournament is 2 moves, so at some point when someone's gonna make a move, we'll know. We'll know. It will update. But what did we say, right? Rook b4 knight c4. I'll never forget that. That's too brilliant. He will definitely find it. I think so. I feel like he might know it. Maybe he already played that, but maybe Black came up with something and he's trying to figure out how to respond to it, potentially. Who knows? Alright, White has not gone for that yet. We're still waiting for some preps. Okay. This looks fine. There's something up with this DGT. There's no way the position is like that. I mean, like, why would Black just not move this bishop back? There's an issue with that game. Megan won. Wow. Brilliant. Brilliant finish by Megan. Now she's sharing for, I mean, is she sharing? Well, the players on board 2 and 3 are still on 3.5, so it depends what they do. She's on 4.5 now. He's not confident. That I don't know much. I don't know much about his confidence. Confidence is tricky. Wait, what? Oh, Mia. Oh, Mia, come on. Knight of 6 or knight of 5. No, we should play knight of 3. I'm sad. I'm sad. Very sad. You know, it's really funny because aside from doing the commentary, I'm also grabbing my favorite moments from these tournaments and I'm submitting them to JJ, who writes the reports. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to check out the reports for the US Open and Invitationals. They're posted daily by JJ on Chess Life Online. And when he made the post on X, he was like, if you're playing an endgame, Sabina's gonna write about it. I feel like after today's round, after I'll submit whatever I have for today, he will be like, if you're playing a brilliant game, Sabina's gonna talk about it. If you're making a blunder, make sure you don't, because Sabina's gonna write about it. Sabina's gonna write about you no matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do, Sabina's gonna write about it. So just play good or something. Or draw, so Sabina doesn't. I'm just kidding. Play your best. We can only do the best we can. We can't control every single thing in this life. I wish we could. I wish we could. I feel like it's commentator's curse. Like, she didn't play it. Will she play knight g5? It's not as good now. But is knight f6 still working? I feel like it does, right? She should still be able to. No, she did not play it. Wait. She played in rook c1. Okay, now she played. Okay, good. Good, Amia. Alright. You did not let me down. She was making sure all her pieces are perfectly placed, so Sabina doesn't complain. That makes sense. I like it. Knight f6. Every single piece is into the game, so no complaints there. Definitely the way to go. Did White miss some tactical idea? Wait. Why not this? This looks very, very enticing. Like, come on. Let's pin that bishop. And if you go king d7, put pressure. This seems natural too, but I guess black can probably just chill. Defend the pawn and just chill a bit. If king d7, what? Oh, oh, that's fancy. Sure, if you really want to be fancy, I guess you can try for that. Knight d3, knight d5. The fanciness of the situation, sure. I'll give you that. That is fancy. I don't know if it's the best, but it is fancy. You get points for that. I don't need to take it though. Or maybe I kind of do. Always consider an immobile rook. Totally. Totally agreed. I escape. I'm not letting you trap my rook. I'm gonna go there and trade it. Not happening. And bishop d7 was played, so maybe black is kind of surviving here. Okay, white won this. Beautiful mate. So white was doing slightly better. How did he totally outplay his opponent? Ooh, look at that beautiful maneuver. 95, knight c6, rook a6, first pawn down, check. Oh no, not even check. Oh, even better. Oh my god. Second pawn down. Okay, one pawn back. That B pawn is just going, cruising through to promotion. Very nice. Very nice game. Okay, black is holding, no entrances. He's the one just trying to improve. Okay, so the queens got traded there. Not much here. And the players agreed on a draw on this one. Pretty balanced, I'd say it's fine. All right, is it time? Sync. Let me check. He's playing in the Barber. He's from Texas, Sing Siddharth. He's from Texas. All right, I think it is time. It is that time. We've went over the games almost twice. One final break before my final focus on getting ready, full energy to bring in the. I'm going on a break. So welcome back. Your tournament starts tomorrow. Goody. And we're getting ready to see the final moves of this round 5. Tomorrow I'll start the day reminding everyone what happened in this round, doing a recap at the end of tonight. I feel like it goes better when I do it at the beginning of the day because I'm more fresh and everything, and I will have had the night to think about it and make sure I can put my thoughts well together as we get on. But we'll certainly be doing a little bit of review on everything. Tomorrow the round starts at 11 a.m. By the way, around 11 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're there, it's 10 a.m. Local time or central time. Don't miss my my announcements with the way your schedule is. If you happen to be there, please make sure you check out the official schedule and you follow that. So tomorrow is Thursday, right? So I wanted to also let you know about a couple of things that are happening there. So at 9 a.m. tomorrow, there's gonna be I guess award ceremony for Just Journalists of America, or maybe that's when they decide who will get those prizes. So that's important to know. That happens at 9 a.m. And then Invitationals, of course, 10 a.m. local time, same as 5-day schedule on round 3 and 4-day schedule round 1. There's a US Chess Trust meeting, some rating system, rules committee, nominating committee, so many committees. If you happen to be there, there's a US Chess Development Committee meeting, military committee. You definitely want to check out the full schedule, and if there's something you want to get involved in, or if you have specific questions for any of those committees, don't hesitate to stop by and get your questions heard. That is the place where you want to show your involvement. You want to share concerns or questions that you have, so that they can work for the entire year to try to improve things. Hola, Beta Wolfie, welcome. Oh my goodness, far is down to 4 minutes. Okay, we can check that game out for a second just to see. That's crazy. Also, this looks winning for black. This looks good for black. Oh, but he's back. He's back into the game to black. Kind of messed up somewhere. Queen a5. Oh, he did not go for queen d6 like I suggested. He went for this. And now he went back. Oh no, that cannot be good. He wasted a bit of time back and forth, and now the knight went from c3 to c5. I don't like this. Chess wizard. I feel like your friend messed up a bit. So definitely queen d6, I think, was the... But he's still doing okay. I mean, and he has way more time, so... I'll have to wait and see what's happening here. Oh my goodness, that's a brilliant mate. Queen f6 mate. Okay. Let's go back to our invitationals. This position is still undergoing. Yeah, a little amount of time on the clock doesn't help, but okay, Bar is a very experienced grandmaster, so he may be used to getting lower in time, but there's a pressure of trying to qualify. There's quite a lot of other grandmasters trying to qualify for the US Championship. Only one spot is definitely very, very scary. But it's only round 5, right? So 4 rounds to go. So anything can happen. Of course, you have to try to score as much as you can while you're playing the weaker players, so that when you play the top ones, you bring all your A game and you have sufficient energy left. So you need to be mindful about that. Wow. Okay, we finally see something. So white did indeed, after much thought and talks about it, white did castle short, so now white has pressure on the f file. It's definitely very unpleasant. Bishop d6, and now queen takes f7. Black must have forgotten about the pawn, maybe only was focused on trying to castle himself, but he forgot about this, and now it's getting really bad, because after this, I don't know what's the fastest way to mate. Definitely check, and then the rook comes in. Well, actually, queen b7 is mate. I think chess lover actually mentioned this earlier. And if you go bishop c7, then lots of ways. But you know what they say, when there are too many ways, it's easy to mess up. I'd probably go for bishop takes c7 and maybe queen f6 and try to get the rook. And then the rook comes in, takes the queen, and white is winning. Okay, we've seen this beautiful mate by Treasure Master Eckenbot. Bach might be winning something. He's winning the pawn. He took it. Alright, now the question is, will he be able to outplay his higher rated opponent and top player in the tournament? I feel like he can definitely do it. Rook takes d5, double up in the file. There's not even a bishop pair for black anymore to try to say that there's counterplay. So we're liking white's position and chances there. William has done it. He has done it. Let's see. So he did find this way with knight c4. Okay, he took the pawn. Cheeky, cheeky, cheeky. Nice maneuvering of the knight. Oh, I love how he's done this. Look at this beautiful mating finish. Rook c6 check. But I think he had a faster one, didn't he? Didn't he have a faster mate after this? Because, like, when you go here, check and takes mate. Okay, this is mate too. Same one. One extra move, because now we have to go rook c4. What a game. What a game. This was definitely very, very brilliant by Liam. I gotta give him, like, this was impressive. Like, queen down, and all very likely analyzed from home. A lot of it, a lot of the ideas. Very impressive. playing his opponent like that. Very strong player as well. Well, nicely done, Liam. It looks like Isaac never really got the chance to play e4, but he is the one with the bishop pair and pressure on b4. He's in the driver's seat. Not clear yet how, but he is on the right path. Still early to tell what's happening in this game. Knight c5. Maybe they'll get into a rook game. This is a game we cannot really talk about, but it looks like they drew. At least we know that the result is a draw, despite the strange moves that we weren't able to fix. Beautiful win by Megan. Mia is okay. King h8, bishop b1. Beautiful prophylactic idea, taking the bishop away from the attack, and now she has to find a way to get more pieces into play. So I got one question, guys. And my question is, what's wrong with this? Is just a check. Agreed. No worries, we just defend it. Seems fine. This is a cute finish. I mean, I like rook f7. Just go back and then queen g6 and mate. Actually, after rook takes, can we go queen g6 just for fun? Again, there's mate. I think she had a way to. Sometimes when we have way too many moves to try to outplay our opponent, it's easy to misplay a bit. But okay, she's still doing quite well. But you know, I like those. I think those lines would have made things a bit easier for her. But now her own opponent doesn't have much time, so I think Omiya should be able to convert this soon. Another rook endgame that looks equal for now, but anything can happen. Yeah, this was a win from before. So is there a difference between b3 and a3? Probably not. Maybe black can attempt some... Or maybe just do this first to chase the rook away. Or king g8 first. I don't know. Rook b7 doesn't quite help white. Maybe white was planning to do this, and then if promotion, just sack the rook. But that shouldn't be that difficult for black to win. In addition, we also have this move. So that's a big problem. It's a very big problem. No, black is cruising through now. Bishop c3, very nice. Keep the pawn. Rook a8 promotes. Draw. Draw. Alright, let's check Bar's game. So he's up a pawn, but black has the bishop pair. And white is still underdeveloped. He might survive. Okay. Mm. So black is coming to grab this pawn. The question is, what do we do in meanwhile? I'd probably say king e2, king d3. To try to trade bishops and just get into that. Potentially rook endgame, and that should be a draw. I think this game is over. Probably the result just didn't show up. I mean, the time is off. Bach is on his way to potentially win this. Can we take? We gotta take that. And now what is the best way for white to maintain the advantage? Rook d7, rook d1. And I think if he manages to trade the rooks and somehow get his knight into c4 and then bring in the king, he should seal the deal. I don't know if we should take first, because like maybe king takes, but I guess it doesn't quite matter. We can still go knight e2, knight c4. If we do that, the king comes to e2 followed by knight c4. Yeah, white's doing great. White is definitely doing great there. All right, so Isaac has been able to infiltrate with the rook. And this queen is somewhat trapped. Okay, Phil. No, there's no way. I was about to suggest bishop b5, bishop a4 to trap the queen, but there's queen c4, so he escapes. He escapes the entanglement. Yeah, he didn't do so great in the US Junior, that's true. I guess the players didn't really get into bishop c8. Okay, black is holding on to the bishop, but there's no real progress. I mean, all right, Omiya is converting this. So what happens here? All right, queen takes, and the mate is coming. Lots of mates for white. Nice one for Omiya. She's keeping up with the lead. She might actually be playing against Megan tomorrow, potentially. They don't match colors, but maybe they might play. And they might be. Depends what happens in this game, actually. If one of these players wins, then maybe one of them will play against Megan, but otherwise the two of them will play one another. That's going to be a really tough fight. I will be looking forward to find out what's going on there. You're always winning, you just gotta have the right mindset. Well, if only it would be that simple, Chess Wizard. If only. It's not that simple. Alright, Andrew is on his way to convert this. We gotta take. And with an extra piece, you should be able to play. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, but it's much easier said than done, Wizard. Much easier said than done. I know that mindset. We all try to get it, but it's not so easy. Okay, so white did follow through with my suggestion, brought the king to d3. Now if you go to k4, for example, I think we just take with what? King, maybe. Then check and takes, or maybe takes. White has to be cautious, and if you do that, maybe you can attempt this. Behind every loss hides the key to understanding ourselves better. Totally agree. Or misunderstanding ourselves more and more, if we want to choose the pessimistic side to things. You're getting philosophical. Yeah, close to midnight is a time that people are bringing in all their lifetime philosophies and everything, and then they go to bed, and then the next day we start all over again. Okay, so we've had the trade. He took directly. Okay, he didn't feel that there was a need to come on the d file. Now the king comes in. King e2. And then, okay, 4. Knight e2, c4. Knowledge is power. Is it? Is it though? I think it is, but I'm just like joking now. What just happened here? I mean, in a way, you don't want it. Maybe bishop e1 would be nice. Kind of prophylaxis. Actually, the more I look at this move, the more I like it, because I had forgotten how to trap the queen. I was only looking at bishop a4, totally forgot about this. I think black has to escape now. And once it escapes... The winner of the US Open gets invited to the US Championship this year. Jones, this year. Again, long time no see. How's it going? How's everything going with you? Queen c4. How do we continue here with white? Yeah, I was thinking e4, but I just thought I wasn't ready for it. But am I? I think you just take it. Oh, I guess not. Oh, because I have queen f4, but then I check first. Because the king is in h2, you know, maybe king h2 was not necessary. He could have done the same thing. But I guess after this we go here. No, he's gonna potentially just check again. No. Definitely not knight takes to fall for the mate. Definitely not that. I saw that. That I saw. Maybe this, that. We don't care. Just this. Still take it. No more. You're taking melatonin. Melatonin doesn't work for everyone. I guess it's good if it works for you. I tried to take it. It was useless for me. No, d5 is good. I'm just trying to find the best move for black. No, knight d5. I saw that one. Maybe this one. Go away, Rookie Rook. 93. Might survive. Haring survive. Oh. That is what he wanted. Why doesn't he just come back and bishop e1 and... Okay, fine. I want some activity for the queen, so he played queen c2. But probably queen c2, what? Is there to b3 or something? No. b3 gives up a 3b. I have the feeling this rook will be trapped. Trapped somehow. Queen g6 incoming. No, but I first get your rook. I'm getting... You can't go there because of check, so you gotta go here. And now... You'll never be able to go queen g6 because I have check rook. Maybe you just trade the rook. Maybe I play b3. I wanted to do this. Of course, you're not forced to take, but it's just... I'm gonna try to be fancy. Oh, but wait, queen g6, queen d6, queen g3. I see. I see your fancy idea. Okay, fine, fine. That's how you're gonna get the... That's how you're gonna get the good position. Makes sense. It makes sense. Oh, bishop e6 played. So we might actually see that line. We might see it. Not much has happened there. How many games do we have left? How did the king make it to g6? I don't know why that king was allowed there. I would just go and... Oh. Maybe if... Maybe some perpetuals. Wait. So if I give a check, you want to go to f6, and then maybe I can give you like one more check to make sure your king is never getting there. This is attacked. So now I just need to figure out how to outplay you. Maybe just bring in my king. Seems decent enough, right? This is scary. Because if you take, there's perpetual. So if you take, then you lose this. You should still be able to win this, but it's gonna take you a bit of longer time than you had planned because you can't move the rook from the back rank. So you gotta figure out how to untangle yourself. Maybe like bishop here, take the pawn, check. Takes a while, but okay, he's made it difficult for himself, but he should still be able to win. Just don't play g takes f6. Other than that, everything is fine. So wait, did Ted get kind of like a winning position? Okay, white should or should not be worried about this. You know what's hilarious? If you think you can create this like little tactical idea and you think you can go queen takes and that he has to take for you to go check and take and you think you're winning, think again because queen d5 is a huge blunder because black gives this counter check and you're pinned and you're not winning. So you know you have to be super careful in that position, like not to fall for some tactics like that. um if you go h4 here and black gives this check and then we go king h2, I feel like black may end up losing the knight. So if you go h4, where does black move the queen? Like only place is here, right? Because f5 there's check. So can't white just take the pawn now because everything is covered? I mean, I guess you could go for this, but now we have 97 discovered check and we win. Did Ted just miss this idea with h4? I feel like he did. So he played queen b4. Yeah, but now, okay, if those two pawns get traded, it's gonna be a draw. He made him miss a pretty big opportunity there to outplay his opponent. Sorry. I meant to just... Well, the players agreed on a draw. Okay, that makes sense. So top three boards drew, white won in this one. Nice. This was supposed to be won by white a long time ago, right? Because there was a huge opening blunder at the beginning with knight g4. White simply missed taking a free pawn because this is one of those typical tactical ideas famous from the dragon where you know black tries to go knight g4 to attack a bishop here and then you check them and whatever piece they put in d7 it doesn't work because it simply like stays pinned and it blocks the defense of the knight, so the knight gets lost. It's the exact same technique just on different with different moves, and yeah, that's certainly helping white there. But okay, he ended up winning in the end, and this was a nice win. All right, let's see if Bach. So we have Bach now, who's still playing. That's one game. Isaac finally turned the tables. So king h7 now, and what do we do to Just here and here, right? And white may be on his way to win. So we have Isaac. This game was drawn. No, what is going on? This is winning. This endgame is winning for white. This pawn is further away by the time you. Oh my god. I feel for Yang Yang. She probably totally forgot about rook d3, took the pawn, tried to keep like equal material, but she missed rook d3, and now it's game over because that pawn is just winning. Oh my goodness, that's a sad way to lose a position that's supposed to be drawn. Just go king d5 and, you know, put the rook on the second rank to keep that pawn under attack. You can trade everything. This could work, or maybe even this, just to wait for white to advance a bit. And now we can check and then take it. Oh my goodness, this makes me sad. Very, very sad. The more pieces get traded in this game, the harder it seems. So literally, we only have this game, this game. Oh, Isaac just won. Bishop e5, and he sealed the deal. All right. So this game, which is about to be over because, you know, white's king is closer to these pawns. No matter how you attempt to try to draw this, you are a little too late to the party. So white's about to win that. I have board 15 if these times are correct, and 17. So 3 games remaining. 3 games remaining in this round. Very, very exciting round, actually. Have we had some results yet in the open section? Black looks winning there. VAR still down time and it's opposite color bishops, but he's up a pawn still. He was able to get his rook out, so that could help him. Let's stick to this game. Because I think at this point we have this and 15 and 17 remaining. This is not going to be easy. I have the feeling this might be rook bishop versus rook. This will end up being rook bishop versus rook. Do you think black will be able to win now? The more pawns were traded, you have to fight till the end. You never know when your opponent might mess up, you know? Like it's the kind of thing you have to remind yourself to do, even if in positions where everything seems so hard and difficult, and what you're gonna do. Yeah, you gotta fight. You gotta fight until the end, no matter what. No matter what. All right, let's stick to board 6. So Evan is trying to create his counterplay by playing g5 and trying to trade and then go h4, g4, h3. But this shouldn't be that... It shouldn't be that much, right? Oh, with the rooks traded off. Oh, this should be easy. I don't think g5 is gonna do much now. Definitely not gonna do much. What do you guys think? We still have people here. I'm not sure. Maybe we don't have anyone. A5 pawn is definitely hard to defend. Yeah, knight c4, knight takes a5 seems to be the follow-up. Actually, after king e2, how are you gonna save your bishop? I'm threatening knight f1, g3. Okay, Bach doesn't have that much time, but I feel like he should be good here, right? Okay. All right, never mind. That a pawn is a gunner. I guess you can try this. GG. What a game. What a game by Bach. Like, this was brilliant. Brilliantly played. Bach Mozart game, definitely. Okay, GG. Beautiful. Congrats. I mean, so he's leading now the Denker. Very impressive game. So now we have Andrew's game. Gotta figure out if he's gonna be able to outplay his opponent. Well, but white might have rushed to push those pawns. Those pawns should stay behind so the black doesn't get both. I think he might have rushed. And then we have this game as well. I feel like this game has been going kind of slow paced. There's way too many pieces left on the board considering how much time has passed. Wouldn't you guys say so? Okay, rook takes c5. And this would lead, oopsie, I meant to do this. This would lead to some faster draw. But if we take with the knight, and this gives black a bit of edge because this pawn is far away, but I don't think it's enough to actually be able to win the game. It's just a matter of how you deal with the time. So it's between these two games now. G5. Wait, rook b7. Sorry. Wait a second. What happened? King e6, chasing the rook away. And now the bishop can just go bishop e5, and the king just infiltrates. Okay, black should win this without trouble now that those pawns have been advanced. Uh-oh. Wait, no. It was 15, board 15. Do you guys think we're gonna see another decisive game, or? I mean, of course black is up a pawn. Yeah, I'm not sure this thing with the time. It's tricky to me. This 2-move delay is a bit tricky to me because, like, I don't know what to expect. Okay, now suddenly we get 10,000 moves so fast. Knight b5 check. Smart guy, the voice is getting better. That's good news. That's great news. It makes me happy. After this commentary, I need to do one more camp, and then I'm gonna get back to my streaming regular schedule and everything. I hope I see all of you guys back there. We'll have some content creation. I'm planning on doing more YouTubes as well, both for US Chess and myself. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting my voice back. I definitely overdid myself this summer, and yeah, like has not been ideal, but you know. I think we're gonna see a repetition, guys. We're gonna see a repetition in this game. Unless rook c6 will be played, but then anyways, then I can go to d5. And then you don't have a better way to protect. Yeah, draw. Draw. Where's the other game? Here. Oh, oops. Oopsie daisy, it didn't get updated for some reason. Okay, wait, what? What? So fancy? Oh, I panicked for a second, but no, this is winning. And this is winning. We don't have time to actually do anything. Those pawns will be lost. How many more times will this moves be repeated before it? King g2. All right. Are we gonna see king g4? Or is Andrew planning something different? I mean, I think king g4 is just easy. Freebie, and then the pawn marches. This was an intense round. Let's see. Any results in the open yet? Antipov is up a piece. A pawn is probably not gonna do much. This looks kind of. Josh Riddell was up material for a while. Vars doing better. His opponent is catching up on time. This looks like a perpetual. Okay, white's killing it here. All right. Why I keep going on the wrong game. I did not agree on a draw yet. It's surprising. White is not sure if to take the draw. I mean, she's worse. She's down a pawn. She should take the draw. Wait, I'm confused. Why didn't Andrew go king g4? So let me remind you, as we're waiting for these games to finish, let me remind you of some important things happening tomorrow. So if you happen to be on location tomorrow, Thursday, July 31st, there's going to be actually at 9 a.m. an executive board meeting, but that's a closed section, so you can't actually join. But at the same time, there's an award ceremony, I believe, for just Chess Journalists of America. So that's happening at 9 a.m. Then the final round for the Invitational starts at 10 a.m. Central Time. I'll be live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, so be sure to be here. I hope I'll see you. Potentially, we'll be seeing some games from the 5-day or 4-day schedule as well. A 4-day starts tomorrow at the same time for the round 1. US Chess Trust has a meeting at 10 a.m. and so does legal rating system. There's a legal rating system demonstration, rules committee, nominating committee. Those start an hour later after the round has started. If you want to play a quad, if you happen to be on location, they have quads in Geneva at 12. There's a National State Invitationals Committee meeting, as well as Clubs Committee at 1 p.m. Those could be things you might be interested in. US Chess Development Committee and Military Committee starts at 2 p.m. Executive Board open meeting at 3 p.m. So here, if you have any questions, any requests of things that the Executive Board can address, discuss, I believe they probably have some agenda that they're going to talk about. You definitely want to be present for the 3 p.m. meeting. It happens in Salon F. And then the awards ceremony starts at 4 p.m. Tomorrow, I will not be going live in the evening. I'm only going live in the morning. And then I'll be back on Friday morning to kind of do a recap of what happened for the US Open, as all of the sections are merging together. I'll be choosing my favorite games and definitely going over for about 2 hours, I think, in the morning. And then after that, in the evening, I'll be covering Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the last 3 rounds of the merged US Open. So those games start at 7 p.m. local time. I'll be live on Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m. local time. And then on Sunday, the final round is at 3 p.m. Central Time. So I'll be live at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, bringing you the final action, and maybe there'll be a tiebreaker. I don't know, but whatever it is, I will definitely be there, and I hope you will join me for whichever one of these live broadcasts that you can. If you know anyone else who's interested, don't forget to let them know. Because of my voice, again, I felt really bad I wasn't able to be on my own channel, but things will get back to normal towards the end of August. Happens to be my birthday month too, so I'm planning a lot of streams, at least right now. When I'm getting better, I feel like I can do more, right? Instead of thinking of how to relax, I'm thinking how I can do more. So I guess something's gonna happen, so I hope you'll be joining me on my own channel too. And don't forget to follow US Chess on social media to stay notified for the different streams that are happening, different events. YouTube is definitely a great place to keep up with tournaments. And wow, okay, did not expect that. Just lover. So if you're going to bed, I hope you have a great night, and certainly hope to see you in the next days live as well. Zhu is the most aesthetic pawn structure you've ever seen in an endgame. Why do you mean? Which Zhu? Wait, who's wait? Zhu Zhanchao? Are you talking about Zhu Zhanchao? And tip of one. Oh, reminiscent of Capablanca Treball, right? But is he gonna be able to win? I'm not sure. He'll try to be there. Thanks, Just Lover. I would appreciate that. I agree. I agree with this beautiful pawn structure. Totally kind of cute. Okay, Var probably will be able to outplay his opponent there. But he did give him a tough fight and got him to be that low on time. That's big. He's probably gotten a little bit of stress there going on with that game. Chess brings a lot of stress to people. Okay, so Andrew's on his. Why does it show blunder? He just missed mate. It's like king h3 and mate. Okay, he missed mate in 3. Okay, fine. Andrew is winning here. And the girls finally agreed on a draw. Okay, this game will be going on for a while, but it's quite clear that black is winning. So I do appreciate all of you guys who sticked around this late. Your presence is highly appreciated. Thanks for being here. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. If you can join in, don't forget Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the final 3 rounds of the US Open. There's going to be a lot of games to be looking at, so I cannot wait to talk about them, and I hope you'll be joining me. But I hope you have a great rest of your night, and have a great Friday.